press the record button. And so today we are recording. I'm Lillian Armstrong. I'm the Director of Special Events for New Jersey Audubon and Cape May Bird Observatory. And I'm joined by my colleague, Renee Buccina. So we have a small group today, probably, hopefully as we get closer to the date, we'll have more people with us each Wednesday. 2 months away seems like forever for some, but for us, it's right around the corner. So what I'm going to do today is go through a brief history of the World Series of Birding, and then we'll open it up for some questions. And then if you like, I will go through some things on the World Series of Birding website. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, the presentation that I have put together about the history of the World Series. So the World Series is in its 38th year. We're going to talk about the history, how the event has changed over time, how you use it as a fundraiser, some adjustments that we've had to make in the past 2 years because of the pandemic. So these are kind of special edition World Series of Birding. And then some of the steps in the process to get a team going and join the event. So the World Series of Birding was started over some beers at the Seaview Inn in Cape May. Present were Pete Dunn, a couple of other New Jersey birders, all of whom found that they couldn't get over 200 species within a 24-hour period in the state of New Jersey. So people have been doing what we call big days for a long, long time. And a big day is any time a birder decides, today I'm going to go see as many species as I can. And nobody could get over 200 in the state of New Jersey. So they thought they would add some competition. And the World Series of Birding began. Started out with 13 teams. All 13 teams did the full state. They covered the usual route, started in Great Swamp for night calling birds and then bouncing all over the state of New Jersey to end the day with some more night calling birds like rails and things around Cape May Point. So this is a chalkboard, which is how we used to keep score. Probably a couple of years into the event because there are a few more than 13 teams there, but you can get an idea of the fact that it was really hard to get 200. Most teams couldn't, but they eventually did. So we love these old photos of some of the original teams. That's Pete Dunn, David Sibley, Pete Pazinski, and Bill Boyle were among the original guerrilla birders of the Cape May Bird Observatory. This was taken outside the Sherman Hoffman Sanctuary up in Bernardsville. This would be the 11th World Series of Birding. So over time, I think it occurred to people that not everyone wanted to bird for a full 24 hours, nor did they want to drive all over the state of New Jersey. So we looked for ways to invite more people to join the fun. We came up with ideas like the Cape Island Cup, where people stayed down south of the canal. Then the limited geographic area. The limited geographic area category is for county-wide competitions. And because all of the counties are different sizes, different habitats, we developed a PAR system. So the county that gets the most species is not necessarily the winner. They have to try to beat the PAR for that county. The youth division wasn't added until 1999, and that has really been very active over the years and is sponsored by Zeiss. We added a senior division in 2002. A big stay in 2003. Big stays became popular where you stayed in one place in a 17-foot circle for 24 hours and tried to see as many birds as you could from there. We took Cape May County out of the limited geographic area competition in 2004 and made it its own cup, not because they were the winners all the time, they weren't, but just because Cape May County has a special place for us here at New Jersey Audubon. We tried photo big days back at the beginning of bird digital photography, and people had to get photographs of birds that were good enough to count toward an ID. So you had to be able to identify the bird by the species, but eventually everybody was photographing birds and that category didn't make any sense. So we dropped it. And we've got our second and third place awards as well as carbon footprint. We have found in recent years that the senior division wasn't really growing, maybe because they had to pay entry fees, et cetera. So our seniors are now mostly in the New Jersey Audubon category, our New Jersey Audubon ambassador category, that is, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But the reason the World Series of Birding has survived so long, where some other birding competitions have not, is because of the fundraising model. It's a fundraiser for all conservation organizations, not just New Jersey Audubon. By paying an entry fee, which this year is $100 per adult team member, $20 per youth team member, teams from any organization on the Atlantic Flyway can enter the World Series of Birding and use it as a fundraising platform. Organizations other than New Jersey Audubon have to collect their own donations. We don't collect donations and then pass them through, but there are a lot of easy ways to accomplish all of that. Just some examples of some organizations that have really embraced the World Series of Birding as a terrific fundraiser. Nonprofits are always looking for general operating funds, and the World Series of Birding is a great way to do that. The Wetlands Institute Marshketeers have been not only successful in fundraising, but also very competitive. Last year, they won the Carbon Footprint Cup. The year before that, they won the Big Stay. And they also raised $5,000 along the way. The Hackensack River Creepers up in northern New Jersey focus only on the Hackensack River watershed, which of course is the watershed that they protect as part of their mission. Over the years, their fundraising efforts have grown to the point where they are generating $10,000 or more in the World Series of Birding. Same for the CU Morris River Fishhawks down here in Cumberland County. They are the keepers of the Morris River and its tributaries. And I think last year, even though it was a virtual type of World Series of Birding, they raised over $13,000. That was $10,000 in 2019. Even our Lorimer Tiny Tots at the Lorimer Sanctuary up in Bergen County, New Jersey. The little guys and their families go out on a day prior to the actual World Series as part of their after school program. And they've been able to generate as much as $1,500 as well. Our own internal team, the Fight and Femmelschlagers of our stewardship department, set out to raise $30,000 to $35,000 each year that support the needs of the stewardship department and their efforts. Every year we have a new t-shirt design. I'll show you what we've got going on this year, but this is an example of the t-shirts over all those years. They're real collector's items, and you can purchase one when you register. But this is a look at the homepage of worldseriesofbirding.org. So the homepage is where you can click on register, or click on donate. And then there's also a scoreboard of the highest fundraisers that's kept up to date starting now. We're all about keeping everyone safe during the pandemic. We had to implement a lot of special rules last year, and we're going to keep a lot of them, but not all of them this year. But we definitely want everyone to get out, have fun doing the World Series, but be safe too. It used to be that the World Series of Birding was a New Jersey centric event. So everyone gathered in New Jersey. All the teams had to stay together. 95% of the species identified had to be identified and confirmed by 100% of the team members. Teams scrambled all around to different habitats in order to get as many species as they possibly could. You saw teams lined up behind a scope. There were lots of Wawa stops, and we had a lot of fun at our finish line and awards brunch events. So that changed in 2020. Obviously, people couldn't come to New Jersey, so we opened the event to the entire Atlantic Flyway. We had some success with that last year, but it was awfully short notice, so we're hoping to have more success with that this year. The 95% rule, as it was called, does not apply anymore because teams can participate even if they're not together as a group. And that is in order to maintain pandemic safety and keep everyone participating. They just have to find a way to communicate amongst themselves to a central person who's keeping the list. Most recently, we did update the COVID safety guidelines, and I'll show you where to look for that on the website for 2021. And following some safety guidelines, if you do choose to stay together or travel in a vehicle for part of the day together. We still recommend not sharing equipment, and our finish line and awards ceremony are still going to be virtual in 2021. Hopefully we'll get back to in-person in 2022. So if you are raising money for an organization other than New Jersey Audubon, you must register in level 1. You can cover the whole state or which basically means anything beyond one county. You can join the limited geographic area competition, which focuses on one county and is sponsored by Wakefern ShopRite. You can do the big stay, which we've expanded the circle for that to 25 feet up from 17 feet, just so that you can allow for physical distancing. The Carbon Footprint Cup is no motorized vehicles allowed, so you can hike, bike, or paddle your way through the World Series of Birding, or you can be within the geographic areas of Cape May County or Cape Island. Level 2 ambassador teams raise money for New Jersey Audubon, and therefore there are no entry fees. So if you just want to go out and have fun, then you should be a New Jersey Audubon ambassador and try to raise some money for New Jersey Audubon. We ask that you shoot for $100 per team member if you can. For Audubon ambassador teams, you can gather a team across state lines. You can have members of your team all over the Atlantic Flyway. And we had teams last year who did. They had a lot of fun and they had really big lists. Our youth challenge is open to young birders aged 18 and under. They can be in any state on the Atlantic Flyway. And we have 3 divisions by grade. The small, grades 1 through 5, medium, grades 6 through 8, and the big kids, grades 9 through 12. It's really fun to watch the teams evolve through these grades, and it gets really competitive in the high school category. We also have carbon-free kids, and that is open to teams that cross some more grades. So from 6th grade to 12th grade, teams can form in the carbon-free kids category. So if you want to be an ambassador, you can have a team of all ages. The team members can be located in New Jersey or other states. You can have team members anywhere within the state of New Jersey. You can raise flat donations or per species donations. And you can even be a team of one person. There is also the opportunity to direct your funds to one of New Jersey Audubon's mission areas or centers. So you can contribute to education, research, stewardship, or Cape May Bird Observatory, Sherman Hoffman, Lorimer, or Plainsboro. A lot of fun is had with names, team names in the World Series of Birding. So that'll can help your fundraising if you have a fun page. It's easy to set up your team page with a whole lot of photos and the ability to tell a story about your team. Once you register, you'll be supplied with a link that you can put in an email to anyone, family and friends, that will take them directly to your team's page to make a donation. Your team, if you're raising money for New Jersey Audubon, will have a thermometer on its team page, and you'll be able to watch your progress on that. Help us spread the word as you talk about it, and plan a route that takes you to different habitats for different species of birds. But mostly you're going to have a lot of fun. So several years ago, we developed a phone app that's very much like eBird. We're going to continue to use that this year, but we're also going to try, we're going to work with eBird, with the folks at Cornell, to allow teams outside the state of New Jersey to use an eBird checklist instead of the phone app. The phone app was set up for New Jersey based species or kinds of species we would see in New Jersey at the peak of migration. Of course, there's a lot of overlap with that throughout the Atlantic Flyway. But outside New Jersey, you're going to have more write-ins, and the write-ins do have to go through a quick approval process, but we keep on top of that throughout the day. So here are the steps. Form your team, choose a category, get yourself registered, download the phone app, gather your pledges and donations, put together your route, kind of think of target species for each location you're going to visit. Make sure you set up a communication with one person who's going to be in charge of the checklist, and go out and have fun. Here's our art for this year. Very timely. This is kind of depicting someone showing their photos of the birds they saw in the World Series of Birding on their screen in a photo sharing app. So those are going to be some fun t-shirts this year. And your team name will be printed on the back of the t-shirt. We get all the team names on there. So it's real people looking at real birds, raising real money for conservation. We have event sponsors, and we'd like to thank all of them. There'll be more coming along. And we've got some upcoming events that you might want to be aware of. The optic sale is April 10th through 11th. If you need to upgrade your binoculars in order to have the most success at the World Series. The World Series is Saturday, May 8th, and the virtual award ceremony will be Tuesday night, the 11th at 7. And just so you know, the Cape May Spring Festival is coming up in May, the 14th through the 16th. There are details on all of these events on our website. So now I will open it up to questions. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat, but we've got a small group. So I think that we can unmute all, Renee. I think we can have an open discussion. Anybody have any questions? Nothing?
Lillian, since we do have some people on interested in the youth teams, can you talk a little bit more about the youth teams, especially in New Jersey, how they can be spread out even out throughout the state?
Yes. One of our guests today is Christine, whose 17-year-old son wants to get involved with the World Series. So the youth teams also are typically teams of 3 to 6, and they have entry fees of $20 per person. Most of our youth teams do focus on a geographic area, although the level 1 competitions like the limited geographic area, etc., those are only open to the adult teams. Everyone on the team has to be 19 or older. But the youth teams take all kinds of different approaches. And in the high school category, we have several that do the full state. And they come in with some high numbers. We've got a group of kids that come up from Maryland who actually beat the adult numbers. So their youth award is sometimes a higher number than the one that goes to the adults. But they can also, the youth teams can also raise money for a school project or, wildlife habitat garden or whatever they might like. And they can either bird together following COVID guidelines, or they can bird apart.
There's a question in the chat about sharing the link for these Wednesdays with others.
I think we can. I think we will. Y'all haven't given me any tough questions that I'm uncomfortable with, so I feel safe.
Christine, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we did unmute you if you had any questions about anything with the event.
Well, I was actually I'm answering work emails at the same time. You know how it goes, but I guess one of my questions would be is like if Christopher did his own team, because he's in an environmental science class right now in high school. He goes to a private school. So if he were to put a team together, could I as an adult be on his team, or like how does that work? Just so he has some supervision with whoever he selects to be on the team.
Actually, all youth teams are required to have an adult there or a mentor who is over the age of 18. So you could serve as the mentor of the team. Technically, you are asked to keep an eye on their IDs, correct them if they're wrong, but don't lead them to the right answer and things like that. But yeah, we do ask that all the teams have at least one adult supervisor, and often more than one parent is along for the day.
Okay. Yeah, and he's actually better at identification than I am. So this has been an interest of his since he was about 4 years old. So, and I don't know if you can hear in the background, but we have parakeets in the house, and he has a dove in his room now. And so it's been, we're doing the Cornell bird count in the backyard every week. So,
Great.
He's been really interested. So, so the donation process is either to the Audubon Society, or if they wanted to do like a school project, like you were saying something about a habitat garden, it could raise money for that as well.
Yes, they could. We do ask that they use the World Series branding, and you will see some links to information about that on the homepage. Maybe Renee, if you could type in www.worldseriesofbirding.org. And also, Christine, he might be interested. We're having a Young Birders conference that's going to be virtual on March 27th. That is a free event that he may want to join. We've been working with the New Jersey Young Birders Club, which New Jersey Audubon organizes. And
Yeah, well, I know he's a member of that, but he's also in the middle of SAT prep. So he's been unfortunately distracted and anxious about that. So I haven't brought this part up in terms of the conference, but I'll mention it to him because I do think it would be beneficial for him.
good. Okay, we had a late arriver, but he may have, I think he logged off. Maybe we'll get him next time. All right. Mike, are you all set up there, Sherman Hoffman? You can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's why you didn't answer me.
You have a question?
No, nope. We got a little more time this year and we'll do some planning.
Good, good. We're ready for you.
Oh, yeah.
So let us know if you need anything.
I think we need a sponsor. You got any sponsors floating around?
Karen Sharp is on the line. She will help you.
There you go. You can unmute, Karen. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Oh, there we go. Ooh, I was trying to unmute myself, but it wouldn't unmute. I had to get an invitation to unmute myself. Yeah, we're helping people with find sponsors. So Tom and I will talk to you about it.
Cool. Can you have more than one sponsor?
Absolutely.
How many can you find?
Many as you can get.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
$1,500 for a team sponsorship. So we're trying to find, different companies at that level and different spots that might come in at 1,500. So we can help you with that.
Cool.
Maybe it's time for PPAC Gladstone Bank to be a sponsor. They're our bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have thought they were sponsoring the board team. Didn't they?
That I know of.
Mhm.
Not that I know of.
I don't know what the situation is with PPAC. I'll have to ask Tom and Mary what's going on with them.
Okay.
I think they should sponsor the hometown team.
At the very least.
Maybe two of them.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I'm going to turn off record.